Hello and welcome to another video. Alright, today I'm going to have a look at my steam engine that I built many years ago. Alright, it's a meth boiler. Heats the water underneath, goes through into the dual piston steam engine, forward and reverse lever, as you can see there. You put steam oil in there and it goes through. That's your throttle, and then it's connected to the shaft. I've cleaned it all up, but at the moment, she's not turning over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip it down and give it a clean and give it a once over. So stay tuned. Just gonna, a bit too big to fit all on this, but I'm just gonna undo this so I can get all this undone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just taking that off so that I can undo the propeller from the shaft. Undo the shaft, so I'll just put those screws back in. So if I spin that, it takes the propeller off, as you can see. Right, but what I want to do is I want to be able to take the shaft off. So if I put this back on, I'll tighten that nut up. Can't turn it as such, and I don't want to damage the motor, but oh look, I've got a grub screw hole. Haha, even better. Alright, so if I undo that, I can disconnect it. Haha. Alright, so I don't want to force it because that'll force all the stuff inside the motor. There we go. That's the one I wanted. Aha! That's what I wanted to do. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Alright, so I'll put that up just leave it like that for the moment, because that's all I want to do is just disconnect that, and then I can start pulling all this to bits, so that's good. Alright, so we'll take the so now what I'll do is I'll take the steam condenser out. Oops, alright, the tubes come out. Alright, this is where all the steam and oil comes into there on the way out, and it condenses, and this collects all the oil and the steam goes out. So it's just a condensing tube tank, that's all it is, just condenses steam, oil in there, steam comes out and the oil's in there, and then at the end of each run what you do is you just tip this out. So yep, so we want to undo that. As you can see, it's that colour, because what I've done is I've put some grease and grime cleaner on it the other day, just to make it so that I can clean it. Take it off. Aha, there we go. Alright. I don't know why that's so close to that. But I didn't make this part. I had a gentleman make this part, but I made all the rest. All this into here. And then he's done the rest. So we've got that. So, alright. What I want to do is take this off so that I can clean it and pull it to bits, is what I'm trying to do. There we go. Aha. Right. Move that aside. Now, I can find the screw holes there and there. Okay. So we've got a screw hole down there which I can't get to at the moment. Get to that one. That's that one. Just get to that. That's that one. And we've got two flat blade ones down there. And thin screwdriver down there. Which just gets that one undone. Hopefully. And that one, they're in a bad spot. They really are. That's there, that's there. Alright, let's use... Take that out. Take that out. Flat one. See if that one works. Aha! That's what pays to have all these extra tools, because they help. Right, so that will help me get this off now. There, and a bit more, and come on, there we go. Woohoo! Engine is off. Right, I'll push these screws out so I can keep them. That's there and that's there. All right, there's a lot of oil underneath that. So I'll get one of my oily rags. Always keep oily rags with a steam engine, because it's going to be steam oil and it's going to be oily all the time, because it has steam oil, which is a very thick oil, and it helps it to run better. So there's steam oil in the bottom of the engine still, so alright, that's nice and dry. That's a lot better. Okay, now I can move it onto a different platform so that I can work on it. And I think one of these will be ideal. Haha! Don't throw things out. Alright. That's one thing I've always said. Don't throw out all the boxes and bits and pieces all the time, because you never know when you're going to need them and when they're useful. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll put these back in so that I don't lose them. Alright. They go in there. Right, now I can move this off the bench. Okay, so now we can do a lot better. Now we've got somewhere in my start little box for all the spare parts. See, this is why you keep all these things. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to get into the bottom. I'd like to get the oil out of it. Right, so that comes off. That goes in there, that goes in there. That screws on the side. If I can, 1, 2 there, and 2 there. That won't come off, that won't come off like that. What have I got, what have I got? So if I undo those, I can't get to those. But if I undo those 2 linkages, that means that will come off with that. That will be able to clean the oil pan. Or do I just undo those? Oh, that'll work. Let me have a look, let me have a look, let me have a look. Alright. Well, likely it'll be the same size that I used for everything. I need a turner in that. Oh, there she goes. That's that one. Oh, come on. That's it. Oh, if I do that, then I should be able to undo that as well, which is what I want to do. That will then release that shaft. I'll just get my camera and take some photos on my phone so that when it comes back together I know how it all goes. Always take photos. So that lets that out. Pulls that out there gently. If I push it back the other way, then I can leave those 2 little screw washers on there and just very ever so gently release that. Right, that can stay on. Okay, so let me undo this one and this one. That's those 2. Turn this around so I can sit it down. I've got this one, this one. That should, if I remember rightly, that should let me into the actual engine. Haha! And there we go, all the oil pan and all the bottom. So now what I want to do is I want to see if the pistons are going to move on their own, or is something else happening. But there's a lot of grease and a bit of oil mixed up in there. So what I think I'll do is I'll get my degreaser and I'll spray it all with degreaser. That'll help work out what's what. Alright. carefully. Alright, so I've done all that and I forgot to hit the record button, so silly me. But what I've done is I've pulled the motor out of, or the engine out of the oil pan. I've put degreaser in the oil pan, I've cleaned that up. I've put degreaser and oil and some WD mixture, and I've given it a good coat, and I've just basically started making little bits of movement and stuff. So this now moves, that's forward and reverse lever. As you can see, that now moves up and down this in here. Inside there's a chamber, and this moves where the exhaust comes in and out of which side. So when the piston's up and down, it's the same principle as a motor in a car. So basically all I'm doing is just put ample amounts of WD. See, that's the same for this cylinder, and it's 2-cylinder. And this is the bottom of it, and I've put a good amount of WD-40 and stuff. I've got some of the grease and oil off some of the bottom of the conrods here on the bottom end. As you can see, I'm still getting bits of oil and stuff out of it, and congealed grease from years of sitting there not doing anything. It's a shame, but it's all right. I'll just plod along. But these are all moving nicely here and here, but there's not any movement on this as yet. But it does have full ball race bearings in there when I built it, so it'll be fine. But I don't want to pull it to bits just yet. I'm just gonna let it soak for another couple of hours with some WD in it, and that's a penetrant, so I'll just let it sit and soak through, and that will help. And then I'll start pulling it to bits very slowly, bit by bit, cleaning as I go. But it's like any motor. It's exactly the same. This is a 2-cylinder steam engine, that's all. It's uses steam instead of petrol. But I'll just let it go, leave it sit and soak for a couple of hours, come back at it, have another look. So I've given it a good dose, so it'll come good. But if I have to, I'll pull the top steam chamber to bits and give that a good once over, but I don't want to unless I have to, but we'll see. So what I might do first, before I go too far, is I'll have a look and see how much steam oil is in the chamber. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. I'll just clean this up so I'm not getting grease and stuff in there. It's not grease, it's oil. So it's just congealed because it's been sitting up in the shed for many years and I haven't used it. So, and that's why it's that tarnishy colour, because I've given it a dose of degreaser the other day just to clean it up a bit. Alright, so just clean that. So let's have a look at how much steam oil, and that's what we use, is steam oil for steam engines. And you just nip it up, you don't do it overly tight or anything. And the oil in here helps the steam as it passes through. It picks up the oil from the steam from the boiler, picks up the oil, condenses, and it lubricates the motor. And there's actually fluid in there, so I won't go playing around with it too much at the moment because I need somewhere to empty it into, so I'll do that outside. But I'll just leave that sitting there for the moment, won't hurt. But yeah, I'll just leave it sit with the WD-40 on it for a couple of hours and see what happens. Let the WD work its magic. So I'll just leave it sit like that, and I'll come back to it later.